Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham blog and to Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk Live, where today it has been a day full of breaking news and we have a bit more coming in again this evening. It has been an absolutely huge day for Tottenham in the transfer window. It began with the news that we had made a new and improved offer for Torino striker Andrea Bellotti. It then progressed onto some news around Gareth Bale, first coming from Alistair Gold and since from a number of other sources that we are in for a move for Gareth Bale. And the latest update tonight, apparently we have overtaken Manchester United in the race to sign Sergio Reguilon, and there's been a bit more news on that in the last couple of minutes from the most reliable source in the transfer window. So before I get into that, if you are new to the channel and you want more transfer videos like this, including more of these live streams and a lot more, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload or go live. And the new bit of news that we've heard in the last 20 or so minutes, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Tottenham have agreed a deal with Real Madrid to sign Sergio Reguilon. This is one that I think in the last couple of days a lot of Tottenham fans had thought had gone past us, and that he would be moving to Manchester United. However, United have pulled out of these negotiations according to Spanish outlet Marca, and Tottenham now, according to Sky Sports, Fabrizio Romano, Alistair Gold, David Ornstein, all the reliable sources, even Dan Kilpatrick as well, Tottenham are in pole position to sign Sergio Reguilon and have this evening agreed a deal with Real Madrid worth something in the region of £30 million. Now, looking exactly at what Fabrizio Romano had to say, he tweeted out about 20 minutes ago, Tottenham have made an official bid to Real Madrid for Sergio Reguilon, as David Ornstein reported. Manchester United are in talks for days with Real, but won't accept to pay €30 million and won't accept the buyback clause asked by the Spanish club. This afternoon, Tottenham made an official bid for €30 million to Real for Reguilon. Tottenham have accepted also the buyback clause and the preemption clause, both refused by Manchester United, so Real Madrid can match any other bid in the future to bring back Reguilon. Regulan deal is not yet completed, the battle is on, but Tottenham have an agreement with Real Madrid and are now working to agree personal terms with the player. Man United have the okay from Reguilon for days, but there's no agreement with Real. Tottenham hope to convince him. So huge news. This now coming from Fabrizio Romano. It was David Ornstein who was the first to report this evening. It was an exclusive to him at the time. He said Tottenham close to agreeing deal for Spain left-back Sergio Reguilon and permanent transfer from Real Madrid. Not done, but highly possible. Man United have also held discussions for the 23-year-old, but no agreements with him or Real Madrid. So a bit different there coming from Romano. United do apparently have a deal agreed with the player himself, but the big one, the big dog in the transfer window in terms of journalism, it is Fabrizio Romano, and he has confirmed Tottenham have had a bid accepted for Sergio Reguilon. Huge. It really is huge. It's not one that I saw coming today. I mean, we got the Andrea Bellotti news this morning, which again I'll be getting into a bit more in a while, and then the Bale news I think came as a massive surprise as well, because it's one that is revisited every single window by Tottenham fans, and it never happens. You know, we always seem to think it will, or a lot of fans do seem to think it will, but it's just one that just rumbles on for a long time now. But it looks as though finally we could be getting Gareth Bale back, and more than likely Sergio Reguilon will be joining Tottenham this summer. As we know, Danny Rose is close to completing a move to Genoa, so there is a space there for a left back in the squad. We have of course lost Jan Vertonghen as well, who now plays with Benfica, so there's one less option in left back as well. We know we obviously have Ben Davies, Ryan Sessegnon as well can play there, but I think he'd be better utilised in those advanced positions. But Sergio Reguilon could very well be a Tottenham player in the next few days. There are a number of sources, a few less reliable ones. The Daily Mail, I know we don't like talking about them, they've said Tottenham could try and wrap this deal up as soon as tonight, but the deal to sign Reguilon is really moving on now. It's really pushing on, and I do think this is one that we could see completed in the next couple of days, and we could potentially see Reguilon featuring against Southampton on Sunday. Justin Grierson saying I will think we'll get him. CC as well saying we're getting Reguilon. Bradley Coombs on about Bale saying he's coming home. Romario saying, do you remember Dybala last season, or the year before? It was last season. We have a disappointment in the transfer window before, and I know I said back then that I wouldn't get as excited about deals again, but if we're looking at all these people that are talking about Reguilon, I think we really do have to take into consideration the sheer volume of reports. I've only picked the most reliable here. David Ornstein, as we've already spoken about, Fabrizio Romano, the #1 journalist in the transfer window. Alistair Gold talking about it now as well, if I can find it. Busy day for the special relationship, as David Ornstein has said. Spurs working hard to close deal for Sergio Reguilon. The club did not go into the window intending to sign a new left back, but have been monitoring his situation for a while and are big admirers. What a left side that could be. Reguilon and Bale down that left, or if it is Bale maybe playing on the right, Son on the left. The options are endless with these potential signings. I know We Are Tottenham TV tweeted out a while ago a potential lineup for us. It was a 4-3-3, but had a midfield of Højbjerg, Lo Celso and Ndombele, and a front three of Son, Bale and Kane. And it is what dreams are made of at the moment for Tottenham. You know, we'd apparently couldn't afford Ollie Watkins, couldn't afford Callum Wilson, had to go cut price deals for Højbjerg and Matt Doherty, but potentially that money was being kept away for these big moves. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Now, to go in a bit more about Gareth Bale, the first that we heard of this today was this tweet here from Alistair Gold. I normally roll my eyes when there's Gareth Bale questions most windows every year. Finally, this is a window when I don't think I can. From what I understand, Spurs are genuinely having a go for a loan, and if they can get Real Madrid to help out a lot, I think it might happen. Now, he's talking there about Real Madrid helping out. Is news that came out last week or the week before that Real Madrid are willing to subsidise Gareth Bale's wages if they can get him off their books this season. They're willing to pay, I think, 50% of his wages, which is about £300,000. There's some more reports today that saying they could potentially pay a bit more than that, so Tottenham would only have to pay £250,000 a week to Bale, and I know obviously still a crazy, insane amount of money. But I think it's one that Tottenham do have to go for. The Daily Telegraph have been reporting in the last couple of minutes that perhaps Tottenham are looking to make this deal permanent, but that could involve Dele Alli going the other way, which I'm not too sure I'd be happy about that. But if we can get Bale back in on a loan, again, various reports, one saying that we could be signing him permanently for 20 million, and obviously then Real Madrid would still subsidise those wages, so it would only be £250,000 a week. But it's baffling how fast things have progressed today, how the sheer volume of these reports. It started with one or two, and then all of a sudden all the reliable sources have been coming out. Di Marzio on about Bellotti, we've Alistair Gold, David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, Dan Kilpatrick all on about Reguilon, and I think all of them except Romano talking about this potential move for Gareth Bale as well. Steve Roughhead saying, let's hope this comes true as we need some good news. Paul saying, won't believe any deals until the ink is dry, and John Hickey the same, I'll believe it when I see it. Justin Grierson saying it's all over Sky News about Bale as well. And we had Kaveh Solokal speaking on the transfer show earlier today as well, where he said, now we know from what we reported yesterday that Manchester United are an option for Gareth Bale. He's willing to move to any big club in the world of a similar stature to Real Madrid on loan or permanently. He wants to play football again. The question that a lot of Tottenham supporters have been asking over the years, is there a possibility that he could return to Spurs? I think that is possible. It depends how much they want him, it depends how much they show him and his representatives how they want him, and of course the most important factor is his wages. Can Spurs afford to pay his wages even if they are subsidised? Even if Real Madrid are paying half of his wages, would a club like Spurs want to be paying £250,000 to £300,000 a week for a 31-year-old player? If Spurs want him, if they were to make a move for him, I think they would definitely consider it in the same way he would if Manchester United were to make a move for him. So Kaveh Solokal convinced that Gareth Bale is open to a move to Tottenham, and that it is possible this summer. And they're looking at what Alistair Gold had to say about this on football.london. Tottenham are attempting a sensational deal to bring Gareth Bale back to the club on loan from Real Madrid. Leaving North London in 2013 to join the Spanish Giants in a big money move, the Welshman has continuously been linked with a return to the capital over the past few years. If this will scroll down, Bale has fallen out of favour at the Santiago Bernabeu and under Zinedine Zidane, and a move away from the club could finally come to fruition before the summer transfer deadline. Football.London understands that Spurs are indeed having a go at striking a loan deal with Real Madrid, but they would need the La Liga champions to help out financially due to his eye-watering wages, which, as I said, are believed to be in the region of £600,000 a week. The potential return of Bale to Spurs would really boost Jose Mourinho's attacking options, and Spurs have until Monday, October 5th to get a deal over the line. Manchester United have also been linked with a move for the ex-Southampton man as they look to add to their squad before the transfer window closes for business. Speaking on international duty earlier in the month, Bale opened up on his Real Madrid future and revealed that he came close to a departure 12 months ago. Now, that departure he's talking about there, we know is related to Jiangsu Suning in the Chinese Super League. He was very close to joining them, but apparently at the last minute Real Madrid pulled the plug on that due to their own injury concerns, and they had to keep him at the club for another year, but we know yet again that hasn't gone well. Bale is usually out golfing when Real Madrid are playing. We have Stephen Flynn saying looks like Bale is a defo. Levy knows Bale and will give fans and players major boosts, and seemed lucky to be that Inter game when Bale made Maicon look like an amateur. It would be a sensational boost if we can bring Gareth Bale back. I know there's still some fans that are sceptical about it, which is completely understandable. You know, he's not exactly been the most professional person in the last couple of years with the way things have happened at Bale, but we do also have to look at how he's been treated by Real Madrid, by Zinedine Zidane especially, who has endlessly tried to force him out of the club, and the fans themselves who haven't been very accepting of him and his inconsistencies on the pitch before those injuries started taking hold, and then just he seemed to give up on life at Real Madrid. CC saying Ndombele's quality, the only one with real creativity in our team. He changed the game when he came on Sunday, so how can people really question him? I can understand the skepticism about Ndombele and his qualities, because he does have the quality. We've seen that, and you know, mainly with his time at Lyon in some Champions League games, but he has shown glimpses of it with Tottenham as well. He does have the quality, but it's about getting that out of him. It's more potential than anything at the moment. So I think we do need to be a bit kinder to him and accept that he does need time to adapt. And hopefully we can only hope that we do get the best out of him. Ronnie David saying all of these new signings will be amazing, however we need a new centre back, and we can come back to the latest tweet from Alistair Gold on Tottenham's transfer dealings at the moment. If I can just get it up here, it's even more encouraging news. He said, linked with his piece on Spurs' attempts to sign both Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid in a double raid, and if they get them, they're still not done in the transfer window. So if we get these two deals over the line, there's more business to be done. I think Andrea Bellotti will be a number one target in that, but also centre-backs, as Fabrizio Romano reported on the Last Word on Spurs podcast in the last couple of weeks. Tottenham are looking to bring in a centre-back, a winger and a striker. Here we have our winger in Gareth Bale. We've Sergio Reguilon, a left-back that we weren't initially looking to strike a deal for, but it's happening regardless. The striker in Andrea Bellotti, and then we will probably be revisiting the potential to sign a centre-back after that, which it could turn out to be a very, very, very good window. In terms of centre-backs that we're being linked to, I see Paul there saying we need a world-class centre-back. The main one that we were looking at over the last year or so was Kalidou Koulibaly, but he looks set to be joining Manchester City now. Kim Min-jae for Beijing Guan, that seems to have died down as well. There are no real links with regards to centre-backs for us at the moment, but I'm sure once these few deals get over the line, we'll see quite a bit more on that. Now, moving on to the news again that we had this morning with Andrea Bellotti. According to Gianluca Di Marzio, we had a bid rejected for Bellotti last Friday. It was an initial loan bid with an option to buy for £50 million €50 million at the end of the loan deal, which I assume will be next summer. More than likely a one-year loan deal. Torino turned that down as they want a more permanent deal. So Tottenham went back in today with a new bid, very similar, but it's an obligation to buy if certain criteria are met before next summer. Now, this still doesn't seem to be the ideal bid for Torino. They want, if they're going to lose him, they want to do it now, and they want to get their money in now so they can go out and get a replacement for him. So I wouldn't be too confident that Torino will accept this bid, but I fully expect Tottenham to go back in with something new if this bid is rejected. As for Bellotti himself, he scored 16 goals last season in 36 Serie A appearances, which wasn't his best return in a Torino jersey. There's no doubt about that. But his record overall is 79 goals and 179 appearances, which makes for a lot better reading. In terms of the player that he is, I'd always call him an Italian Diego Costa. He's a powerful player, he's an aerial threat, he's a really, really good finisher, he's enthusiastic, he gets stuck in, and he's a strong player, and he's a nuisance to opposition defences. He is sometimes poor in possession outside of the box. His passing can be a bit lacklustre, and he's gotten possession quite a bit, but he draws fouls as well. So there's definitely pros and cons to that. We have Romario saying no defensive responsibility the man can pass in terms of Ndombele, I think, and Paul saying Dyer and Toby are too slow as a partnership, and I think we do have two different kind of partnerships in there, with obviously Alderweireld and Dyer I think is for games that we'll be looking to control if we're looking to play with the ball. Dyer has that experience playing as a midfielder, is probably in terms of our ball playing centre backs up there at the top, probably behind only Toby Alderweireld. But if we do need a quicker a quicker back line if we're playing teams like Manchester United when they've Rashford and Martial, if we're playing Man City who have Sterling, Jesus, Aguero, Mahrez, and even Liverpool with their Mane and Salah. I think that's when Davinson Sanchez comes into the team and offers a bit more than Eric Dyer. He has that pace to, not to match those opposition players, but he has more pace than Eric Dyer. And I think Dyer and Toby, while they have been the main centre-back pairing for us so far in pre-season and this season, and probably in the last year or so under Jose Mourinho, I think Sanchez is there mainly as a more pacey player when we are playing those bigger teams. Steve Roughhead saying, I think if we get Bale back, he'll be played as a number 10 and we will let Dele go the other way, which after Sunday and recent performances I can't say I'd be too upset about. And as you're saying there, with Dele going the other way, as reported by the Daily Telegraph, Tottenham could be looking to make this Bale deal permanent, which would see Dele Alli move to Real Madrid. And as you say, it's hard to be too upset about Dele Alli potentially leaving the club in terms of his performances. I think for a lot of Tottenham fans there is quite a bit of sentimentality there with Dele Alli, because he came into the team as a young player from MK Dons and burst onto the scene and became one of the best playmakers in the Premier League. I know in that 2016-17 season, scoring 20 goals and I think registering 18 assists. He had crazy numbers that year, but he just hasn't been able to push on, and he hasn't even been able to match that form in recent years. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we did lose him, but as you say, it could open up that number 10 position for Gareth Bale. Liquid Snake saying Bellotti, Bale and Reguilon would really signal intent, which is absolutely true, there's no doubt about that. Eternal Anglo saying just watch Levy snatch away both of these exciting signings and give us Deeney, prepare for disappointment. I think as Tottenham fans we do always have that air of being a bit cautious when we are looking into these transfer things, but it's hard not to get excited. This Bellotti news came out and I was happy. I was quietly happy, I suppose. I wasn't getting too excited, but then the Bale news and then the Reguilon news, and when it all comes out at once like this, it's really hard not to believe the hype and really get drawn into it. Poor Ev saying, I read about Lazio closing in on Kim Min-jae. Is it true? I haven't heard anything about Lazio closing in on him. The last I heard there was he had actually apologised to his teammates at Beijing Guan for wanting to get the move away and looking into the potential for a move to Spurs. But after a quick search here, Cartilage Free Captain, another page here looking like an Italian page saying Lazio have had a bid accepted for Kim Min-jae, but I wouldn't be too, I suppose, drawn in by them. They're not the most reliable sources, but of course it is a possibility. Now looking again at Sergio Reguilon, 23-year-old left back for Real Madrid, who spent last season on loan at Sevilla, where he made 31 league appearances in the La Liga. And just to revisit this news as well, according to Fabrizio Romano, we have had a bid accepted for Sergio Reguilon, believed to be in the region of €30 million. So attracting interest from Sevilla and Manchester United doesn't matter. Tottenham have had a bid accepted by Real Madrid, and while we don't yet have a deal accepted with the player personally, and he seems to prefer a move to Manchester United, where he has apparently agreed personal terms, we have a deal with Real Madrid struck, and we are working now on getting these personal terms over the line. And according to some sources, this deal could be completed as early as tonight. He's extremely talented on the ball. He's a very, very offensive left back. He really is a sensational player. Last season, in terms of under 23 fullbacks in Europe, he had the 4th most chances created. He created 40 chances in the La Liga. We had Ferbis Estupiñán. He's a Watford left back who last year was on loan at Osasuna in the La Liga. He created 41 opportunities. Theo Hernandez created 42, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, way above everyone else, created 81 last season. But Reguilon, 4th most chances created from under 23 fullbacks in Europe. He's a defensively solid player. The numbers are good, they look good, but he can be rash at times. He's almost a milder version of Sergio Aurier, and then he can dive in, he can give away stupid fouls, but he really makes up for it with his offensive abilities. Does he suit our system? This is a question I've been asking with regards to the way we play with this really advanced right back. We saw Matt Doherty at the weekend against Everton. He's playing almost as a right winger, and I know for a lot of the time the space in behind him was exploited, with Richarlison finding a lot of space in there. But Davis, our left back, as we know, usually sits in as a third centre back. That wouldn't exactly suit Reguilon, but in hindsight I think it could actually be a better thing, because it would offer us a lot more versatility in the way that we can play. So if we do want to play with that four at the back with Doherty really pushing on, we can use Ben Davis as that left back to fill in as a third centre back, whereas if we do want to play in a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back, we can put Reguilon out on the left with Doherty on the right and then play 3 centre backs. So I think bringing him as a left back, since he is so different to Ben Davis in the way he does like to play and in the qualities that he does possess, I think signing a left back like him would really offer a chance for us to play different systems depending on the team that we're playing. Paul saying, never forget when we had a chance to win the title, Harry wanted Tevez and Cahill, Levy bought 36-year-old Saha and Nelson. Of course we have had that disappointment in the past. Darren saying, I said earlier, Matt, Levy only offers a packet of crisps and a can of Coke for players, but we in the squad need a lift. Come on, Mr. Levy, go all out and get Bale, which I think is certainly true. Daniel Levy has been known to make some rather embarrassing offers in the past. But this is looking real. It really is looking like this could be a fantastic summer transfer window for Tottenham, a fantastic couple of days, couple of weeks if we can get these deals over the line. Martin, welcome along to the stream. Hope you're well. Are you not worried that you're essentially getting Reguilon on an expensive loan, which is I would assume why Manchester United have pulled out of this deal. Now, there's not too much from Fabrizio Romano in terms of the structure of this buyback clause, or the preemption clause, as he mentions here in the second tweet. So there's a few other reports saying that Real Madrid's buyback clause lasts 3 years. Let's drop my mic here. Real Madrid's buyback clause lasts 3 years, and we're signing him for €30 million, and that buyback clause would be for something in the region of 35 to 40 million euro. So it is a bit of a worry, I suppose, that if he comes into Tottenham and he does start playing well, that it could end up being, just, as you say, an expensive loan, which is probably the best way to put it. There is going to be that worry there, but I think it's a risk that we have to take when we're looking at Ben Davies being our only left-back option at this point. Regulan, an exceptional player, and if it is going to be a case of Real Madrid buying back in a year or two, we're going to have a really good left-back for a couple of years, but also we're going to make a bit of profit off that. And I would assume with Daniel Levy, there's going to be something more in that. There's going to be another little thing in there that just favours Tottenham, because he's an exceptional negotiator. Obviously he runs a football club, but his main thing, the thing that he's best at, is running a football club, is running a business. And I don't think he would just accept a simple buyback clause or a preemption clause. Obviously that preemption clause now is that if another team makes an offer for Reguilon, Real Madrid have the option to match that. And if they do, we have to accept their bid before we can accept the other club's bid. So Real Madrid being very clever in these negotiations and not wanting to let go of him. But well, it is a bit of a worry. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker at all. Steve saying, I'm actually surprised we haven't tried to bring Luca back too. Liquid Snake saying, what would you think would be a realistic position on the table if we see the deal on Bale and Regulan through? I don't want to get overexcited, and I don't want to jump the gun and say, if we get these, we're winning the league. 'Cause obviously we're not going to win the league this season, regardless of who we bring in. Realistically, but I can see a real push for top four if we can get these deals done. I was only speaking yesterday to a few people saying that this is probably the first time in a while that I've gone into a season not confident that we can get top four, because what we were seeing in the transfer window was, we can't afford Ollie Watkins, we can't afford Callum Wilson. All we can afford is, Joe Hart and a free Matt Doherty, Højbjerg for about £15 million each. But this is a real step. This is a real difference in what we've been seeing in this transfer window so far. And if we can get these deals done, let's just say our window as a whole, signing Hart, Doherty and Højbjerg initially, if we can get Bale and Reguilon over the line, if we can get that Bellotti deal done, or get another striker of similar stature, and if we can then go on and get a centre back, which we know we need to sign and we know we are looking to sign, I think we're looking at a real push for top four this season, which is still a step back from where we were a couple of seasons ago, when it was top four was almost a given and I was looking to go on and win that league in those few years under Pochettino. But I think getting these deals done and getting an extra couple of deals done, as we know Alistair Gold has already said, our business isn't done once we get these two players in. I think a push for top four is well within our grasp for this season. Steve, welcome along to the stream. Spurs are life, one saying we winning the league then. As I said, I wouldn't go that far just yet. Paul saying Ryan Sessegnon to be sold. I wouldn't say so, because I think the main thing we need to do with our business this summer is to just add squad depth, because that's what we've been lacking with the injuries we've been picking up in recent years. That's been the main problem that we have had. And Ryan Sessegnon is a player who he's not in terms of quality, he's not a first team player for us. I think maybe a loan deal or two could benefit him quite a bit in the long run, but he offers something to us that not a lot of players do, and it's that versatility, the ability to play in different positions. He can play in that left wing, kind of the left sided player of our front three. He can also play along the right, where he has played with Fulham in the past, but he can still play in that left back role, in a left wing back role. So he does offer us something very, very different. And with the Europa League this season as well, like, you know, on Thursday going to Bulgaria to play Lokomotiv Plovdiv. If we win that, we're off to Romania or Macedonia, and even in the League Cup we have either Leyton Orient or Plymouth coming up, and they're actually playing at the moment, and they're trying to decide who we'll face. Ryan Sessegnon is a player who could play a big part this season, as is 99% of the players in that squad. If you're looking at the youth players that have featured for us in pre-season, Harvey White, I think, could be a big player for us in this season. I don't think there'll be many of these kind of fringe players that we expect to see leaving the club. I don't think we will see them moving out as much as a lot of fans expect this summer. Secret Limited is saying, how does Gold get all of these Tottenham news? Alistair Gold works primarily on Tottenham news and things like that, so he does have some inside sources, and he'll have kind of access to the club that we as fans wouldn't have, which is where he gets all these stories from. We have Keane here saying Regulan would be a class signing, so would Bale. Knowing Levy, it won't happen unfortunately, but I can see us maybe getting Bale on loan. And that does seem to be the main thing that we're looking at for Bale at the moment. It's more than likely going to be a loan deal there, which, look, at 31 years of age, he wouldn't be the best player to bring in on a permanent deal. But if we can get him in for loan, if it does just tide us over for another year before we can afford to make some signings, because if we are getting these number of permanent deals, I think next year could be where we go on to make another few permanent signings. We can't afford to get all of these players in on permanent deals at once. So Bale, even if it is just something to tide us over to next season, he's a fantastic player to have in there as a placeholder until we can afford to bring in someone permanently. So that loan deal for Bale, for me, is absolutely perfect. We've Scott saying, I just saw Delhi potentially being included to Real Madrid, which is a report coming out of the Daily Telegraph this evening, that Tottenham could actually be looking to sign Bale on a permanent deal, which would see Dele Alli go the other way. Now, if this was the case, I would imagine we'd have some cash coming our way as well, because Bale for Ali in a straight swap, even though Bale is probably the more talented footballer, I think in terms of age, you know, Bale 31, Dele Alli is 23 at this age, it wouldn't be a fair deal for us to do a straight swap there, so I think we could be getting some cash in if that does happen. Some other reports with us in this potential permanent deal reports that we could be paying £20 million for Gareth Bale, Real Madrid still subsidising his wages, so that we would only have to pay about £250,000 a week, which is still a lot of money given our highest paid player at the club at the moment is Harry Kane, who's only on £200,000 a week. Martin saying, sneaking suspicion that Josh King may kick up a fuss towards the end of the window if he doesn't get a Premier League move, which wouldn't surprise me at all, and I wouldn't blame him either. I think King is a very talented forward and was extremely unlucky not to get his move to United last January, but it's that 10 days at the end of the window when the main window closes. I think it's around the 7th or 8th of October, and then we have up until the 15th where Premier League clubs can deal with EFL clubs, so I think we'll see a lot of movement there, especially with some of the players at Bournemouth and Watford and even Norwich, and a few more Championship clubs down there who do have Premier League quality players. I think these players like Josh King, David Brooks, looking at Watford, Ismail Assar, Gerard Deulofeu, and at Norwich, Timo Pukki, Todd Cantwell, Emi Buendia, Max Aarons, who haven't got their move yet. I think they will be moving on to clubs who couldn't get their number one target this window, so I think there is still a massive possibility for players like that to get their moves to the Premier League, and I would expect Josh King is going to be one of them. Andrea saying Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Reguilon is set for United. Seems like a fight with them looks tough with their financial advantage. And as we've been looking at, Romano has slightly changed his story on that one. A few people subscribing here as well. Thank you to those who are subscribing. If you do want more transfer videos like this and stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that like button if you are enjoying this video as well. But as for this Fabrizio Romano report on Sergio Reguilon, the latest from him coming in the last hour or so is that Tottenham have made an official bid to Real Madrid for Sergio Reguilon, as David Ornstein reported. Manchester United are in talks for days with Real, but won't accept to pay €30 million and won't accept the buyback clause as asked by the Spanish club. This afternoon, Tottenham made an official bid for €30 million to Real for Reguilon. Tottenham have accepted the buyback clause and the preemption clause, both refused by Manchester United, so Real Madrid can match any other bid in the future to bring back Reguilon if he does join us. Reguilon deal is not completed yet. The battle is on, but Tottenham have an agreement with Real Madrid and are now working to agree personal terms with the player. Man United have the okay from Reguilon for days, but there's no agreement with Real. Tottenham hope to convince him. So coming from that, Fabrizio Romano doesn't seem to be so sure that Reguilon could be on his way to United anymore. It looks like we may have potentially hijacked that deal, as is the same with Gareth Bale. Death Boy saying, after the Everton match, it would be great to see these signings come in. Getting new players in will push the players to perform to keep their places, and that is an argument that was pushed forward a lot under the Pochettino era, especially when we had that starting 11. You know, it was a set 11 every week, and we knew it was going to be Dembele and Wanyama in the middle. We knew it was going to be Rose and Walker in fullback. The players, when they get a sense of that they're comfortable in their starting 11 and they know their place is there every week, their performances kind of subconsciously do slack. And bringing in these players, while these ones specifically could be first team players, bringing in competition and bringing in squad depth gives the players I suppose an air of insecurity, and they do push on and they do need to perform better, and that could be crucial for us this season. Even though I'd say in the opening part of the season, it's the squad depth and the ability to rotate is going to be the best and the most important aspect for us in our dealings this transfer window, because I think starting in the middle of September, so very, very soon actually, we do have a period of 9 games in 20 days, and the fringe players who haven't been as lucky in getting into the starting 11 in recent years are going to be a lot more important. As I was saying about Ryan Sessegnon, well, you probably won't be selling him, while players like Harvey White, who did really well in pre-season, could be getting more first team football this season. Jaffa Tanganga, who is at the moment injured, they could have a lot more first team games this season, but that competition it can only be healthy for the club in improving these performances, which we can't lie do need to improve. There's no doubt about that. MFL Clan saying, what striker do you most likely see us signing this window? It's a difficult one, but the one we're looking like we're pushing for the most at the moment is Andrea Bellotti. Gianluca Di Marzio reporting this morning that after having a bid rejected for him last Friday, we have made another bid for Andrea Bellotti. The current bid now that we have put in, which has not yet been answered by Torino, is an initial loan deal with an obligation to buy next season, given under the condition that certain criteria are met. Now, we don't know the exact amount put forward by Tottenham in this deal, but I would assume it's fairly similar to the 50 million euro we had in the first bid. And as for this criteria, you know, it is anybody's guess, but the most likely, the most common ones in these sort of deals are if he makes a certain amount of appearances, or if he scores a certain amount of goals, or as was the case with our deal with Giovanni Lo Celso last year, if we made it into the Champions League, if we finish in the top 4, we would then be obligated to buy Lo Celso permanently. Now, obviously we didn't make it into the top 4, but we signed Lo Celso, we activated that clause a bit early and signed him in January. But I think at the moment most likely signing will be Andrea Bellotti. As for our other targets, just touching quickly on them, Patson Daka seems to have chosen to stay at RB Salzburg for at least another season. I think he was one that was really gaining momentum, and there was a lot of excitement in the fan base that we could potentially be signing him this summer. His numbers there, as you can see, are exceptional: 24 goals and 31 league appearances last season. Already has 7 goals and 9 this season, but he does seem to have chosen to stay at Salzburg. Now, another striker, there's been a few developments in the last couple of days, is Arkadiusz Milik. We know last week Napoli reduced their asking price from 50 million euro to about 35 million euro. This developed even further a couple of days ago when they struck a deal with Roma to sell Arkadiusz Milik for 25 million euro, so further reducing that asking price. However, now it does seem as though Milik has turned down Roma and for now will be staying at Napoli, but there is certainly potential for him to move on from them this summer. His contract expires at the end of the season, so he is available on a free next summer, with negotiations open to start in January under the Bosman ruling. So that one isn't over yet. I think it's unlikely at the moment, but it's certainly not over yet. I do think the one that we most likely get done is Andrea Bellotti, and there's no doubt that we will be getting a striker this summer, because Jose Mourinho has made it very clear that both he and the club want and know that we need to bring in a striker. He said, I need a striker, but I want to make it very, very clear that the club knows that I need a striker and they also want a striker. Are we going to get one? I believe so. I honestly believe so. The team needs it for the balance of the squad. So he wasn't beating around the bush there at all, making it very, very clear that we are looking to sign a striker this summer. And that's been backed up by the reports in the media about the likes of Andrea Bellotti, Arkadiusz Milik, and Sky Sports as well, talking about our potential interest in another striker, and that is Bas Dost from Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, he's not a player that I know too much about. This is one that has only come out today. I don't know too much about him, but from what I do know, I don't think he'd be the best option for us. He scores goals. I mean, that's obviously the number one thing you want from a striker, but I don't know if he's the type of player that will have the ability to adapt to the Premier League and provide on a stage that we will need him to going back on a few more things Sky Sports have said as regards the Gareth Bale move a little under an hour ago. Bale's advisors talking to Spurs. Gareth Bale's advisors are talking to Tottenham about a potential loan move from Real Madrid. They are also talking to other Premier League clubs. Real Madrid have not agreed a deal with anyone. The likelihood of Bale returning to play in England is now looking much more realistic. We reported yesterday that Manchester United were considering making a move for Bale. But as Kaveh Salakal said a little bit earlier on the transfer show, just at the bottom there, if Spurs want him, if they were to make a move for him, I think he would definitely consider it in the same way he would if Manchester United were to make a move for him. So he seems to be fairly convinced that Gareth Bale would consider this move to Tottenham. And what he had to say a bit earlier than that, as far as Gareth Bale is concerned, Real Madrid have pressed the delete button. As far as they're concerned, he does not exist anymore. The Spanish media are reporting that his shirt has been removed from the Real Madrid club shop in Madrid. There are no pictures or footage of him on their social media feeds. He's obviously not training at the moment. He returned from international duty with a knee injury, so he's on his own in the gym at Real Madrid, which is very convenient. We know players, when they are close to completing transfers, often pick up these small injuries. Real are basically sending out a message that was already pretty clear anyway, because Zinedine Zidane wasn't picking him, that he does not have a future at the club. They want him to leave. They want to get his massive wages, which are between £500,000 and £600,000 a week, off their books. So it's almost definite at this stage that Gareth Bale will be leaving Real Madrid. Just the question is, will Tottenham be the team to sign him? At the moment, I would say we are the most likely to be getting this deal done. All these sources saying we're really looking into getting this deal done. Alistair Gold saying we're genuinely trying to get it over the line, and I do think this could happen this summer. I've been fairly skeptical about this in the past. I've never been I've never expected Gareth Bale to return to Tottenham. I knew the possibility was always there, but I've never been in a position where I thought, this is going to happen. Now we have another update from Fabrizio Romano just coming in now on the Sergio Regulan deal. If Tottenham will complete Regulan deal, they'll 100% include both the clauses that Real Madrid asked. Man United are totally against any clause or losing player in the future. Here we have more details about the clauses and how they work. Okay, so a big one here from Romano. What's happening? Tottenham today have submitted an official bid to Real Madrid for Sergio Reguilon. Manchester United are in talks for days with Real, but won't accept to pay the 30 million price tag and won't accept the buyback clause. Now it actually seems like I can. Oh, there we go. Key clauses. This afternoon, Tottenham made an official bid for 30 million to sign Reguilon. Oh, we'll get that back there. To sign Reguilon. Tottenham have also accepted the buyback clause and the preemption clause, so Real Madrid can match any other bid to bring in the future to bring Regulan back. Now the details. Man United won't accept to sign a player and let Real Madrid buy him back in the next few years with the buyback clause, or matching another bid in the future, which is the preemption clause. Spurs have accepted both. So we have a clause in there that in the next 3 years, if Real Madrid do want to buy him back, there is a clause set in that, a fee set in that transfer agreement, that they can trigger this and they can bring him back for whatever the agreed deal is there. It's believed to be in the region of 35 and 40 million pounds. The personal terms, the deal is not completed yet, but the battle is on. But Tottenham now have an agreement with Real Madrid and are working to agree personal terms with the player. United have the okay from Regulan for days, but there's no agreement with Real. That's why Tottenham hope to convince him and finalise the deal in the next few hours. Mourinho wants him. So that's big coming from Fabrizio Romano. Tottenham potentially trying to get this deal done in the next few hours. Could we see Sergio Reguilon playing against Southampton at the weekend? As the minutes pass, it's looking more and more likely. I wouldn't say it's definite at this stage, but it is certainly likely at this stage. Huge developments coming through, and as they continue to flood in tonight, as I said, started this morning with the news that we have made a new offer for Andrea Bellotti, then it was Gareth Bale, and now it's Sergio Reguilon, and this transfer window is really picking up for Tottenham. This could be an exceptional few days for us. Can I say as well, 273 of you in here, thank you everyone who is watching. If you are new to the channel, I do these interactive live streams, I do transfer videos and general Tottenham analysis videos, so if you do want more of that, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and like this video if you are enjoying it. Now, news from the BBC with regards to Gareth Bale. This is a bit of a big one coming in now. Breaking news from Gareth Bale's agent, Jonathan Barnett, to BBC Wales. Gareth still loves Spurs. We are talking, it's where he wants to be. So Gareth Bale's agent in the last couple of minutes has confirmed that Gareth Bale wants to sign for Tottenham this summer, and talks are underway for this deal to be done. So Gareth Bale's agent, Jonathan Barnett, to BBC Wales, Gareth still loves Spurs. We are talking, it's where he wants to be. Absolutely massive. So a lot of people who were skeptical about this deal, it's hard to deny it now. It's coming from Gareth Bale's agent himself. This deal is more than likely going to go ahead. They are in talks, and Gareth Bale wants this move to Tottenham completed. Look, this is not how I saw this day going. It's absolutely crazy that all this has happened in one day. Another report here, Gareth Bale's agent Jonathan Barnett has revealed he is trying to engineer a move back to Tottenham for his client, as that is the place he wants to be. So Gareth Bale wants to join Tottenham this summer. It's massive. I know I keep saying that, but it's absolutely crazy. Now we've ESPN weighing in on this Sergio Reguilon deal. They're saying Tottenham have agreed a fee worth around €30 million with Real Madrid to sign Reguilon, as we knew. The player has agreed a 5-year contract with his new club. So let's play this graphic again, because if we can we play this? I think I need to go back here and then bring this back in. There we go. Some more breaking news from ESPN. They're claiming that this Sergio Reguilon deal is done, and we have now agreed personal terms with him. The final details are now being finalised. Could we see Regulan announced in the next couple of days? This is absolutely sensational. Everyone put into the chat now your opinions on this. Gareth Bale's agent confirming they're in talks to bring him to Tottenham, as it is where he wants to be. And now we have personal terms agreed with Sergio Reguilon. Both these deals could be done in a matter of days. Both came out of nowhere this evening, it has to be said. But this is happening. This is happening. We are signing, more than likely signing, Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid. As Alistair Gold is saying, this special relationship that was mentioned when we did sell Bale and Modric to Real Madrid, this special relationship is finally coming good for Tottenham, and we look to be signing both Gareth Bale and Reguilon. I think now we do need to just revisit this Andrea Bellotti deal and say that this is still a possibility. We can still sign Bellotti. Alistair Gold has said with these deals coming in for Bale and Reguilon, we are not yet done in the window. We need a striker, we need a centre-back. So Alistair Gold, one of the most reliable Spurs sources, saying we're getting Bale, we're getting Reguilon, and we're not done there. So Andrea Bellotti, as Gianluca Di Marzio reported this morning, we have put in a new bid for him, a loan bid with an obligation to buy next season if certain criteria are met. We don't know the fee, it could be about €50 million, and the criteria for that obligation, you would have to assume is something to do with appearances, goals, or Tottenham's performance as a club this season. It's been an amazing day. Looking at Tottenham right now, if we look at what happened on Sunday, where we were a lacklustre team with no creativity, no desire, no drive, losing to Everton in a position in the transfer window where we've just been outbid by Aston Villa for what seemed to be our main striker target at the time. Now we're a team who have Jose Mourinho as manager, and we're signing the players that Jose Mourinho wants. We're signing world-class players. We're signing top players from Real Madrid. We're signing players that United want. We're signing players that Sevilla want. We're signing big players. And Jose Mourinho, we know, wins trophies. We know his second season is where he goes. Second season is usually where he wins the league. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say we're going to win the league, but we could win trophies. And Daniel Wright here is saying you better be telling the truth. This is all coming from the most reliable transfer sources around the world. This is Fabrizio Romano, this is Kaveh Solokol, it's Dan Kilpatrick, David Ornstein, Alistair Gold. You know, the list goes on. This is big. I didn't at the beginning of the stream, I wasn't overly confident we get this done, but right now there's no doubt in my mind that Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilon will be Tottenham Hotspur players in the next couple of days. And look, I know it's probably a big thing to say, it's a big statement, but with this news that we're getting in, it's kind of hard not to get excited about this and not to believe this is going to happen. With BBC again, Gareth Bale is the closest to a return to Tottenham Hotspur and the Premier League than he has ever been since leaving for Real Madrid. The news continues to flood in. BBC now weighing in on this Regulan deal, saying we're close to signing him. Again, that quote from Bale's agent, Gareth still loves Spurs, we are talking, it's where he wants to be. I mean, I don't understand. There's a picture here about Gareth Bale's Twitter. I'm not entirely sure what the point of this is. He hasn't changed his bio or anything. But look, I was going to actually take a few comments from the chat here. Just more. It continues to flood in here on Twitter the news that Reguilon and Bale are close to completing these deals. Joseph Shepherd saying there was the same talk in the season where we signed nobody, so I'm sceptical to say at the least. We were rich then as well. There was a lot of talk, there was a lot of rumours, but there was never anything as concrete as what we have seen today, with, as I say, endless numbers of sources, endless stories, countless journalists weighing in on this, saying that these deals are going to be done. Simon Hill saying if none of these transfers happen, get Levy and Enoch out, which, look, if they don't happen now, with how far these have gone, I would say then probably Levy and Enoch out, but they look now to be getting the deals done. Brennack saying Regulan with Bale walking inside the dressing room tomorrow. I think this could be, we could see a double announcement with these two players, both coming in from Real Madrid. We could see something like that. I think these will probably be announced in the next couple of days. There's potentially another story coming in here. If I can just get it up here. But yeah, if these don't come through, just the quote there from Gareth Bale's agent, if these don't come true at this stage, I think then we can ask questions of Levy and Enoch. But for now, I think we have to praise them. Dave's Viking saying this is big for Tottenham. All they need now is a backup centre back, which, as we said, is still a possibility for the rest of this window. Fabrizio Romano on the Last Word on Spurs podcast a couple of weeks ago said Tottenham are looking to bring in three more players: a centre back, a winger, and a striker. Alistair Gold tonight saying that when we get these Reguilon and Bale deals done, as he expects we will, we're not done there, and the business will continue from that. So I think we will also get in a centre back this window. Davis there saying as well, ESPN said Reguilon has done 5-year contract. Joseph, who was a bit sceptical about Bale, saying I take it back, if his agent says that maybe it could happen, and I think at this stage it's going to happen. Now, just going back to that quote, I don't know if he mentioned anything about a loan or a permanent deal, but whichever it is, it's big. Whichever it is, it's a fantastic signing for us. Jeff Byrne saying if Daniel Levy doesn't get the Bale deal over the line, similar there, maybe it would be time for him to go. Just seeing some tweets here, will this be the biggest profile signing we've ever made? It's certainly up there. I think it might actually be the biggest profile signing we've ever made, especially one for the fans that we've been looking to get over the line for a number of years now. Another tweet here, a good point. Bale is homegrown because he came through at Southampton, whereas Davis came through at Swansea and doesn't. I don't know why I mentioned Ben Davis there. The other two would be okay if we have buyers for Foyth, Gazaniga, Ori, or even Davis himself. So a good point that Bale does actually increase that homegrown quota for us as well, which is one that I hadn't even thought about. The great news just continues to roll in tonight. As I said, I was happy with the Bellotti news this morning, but now here we are, 8:20 on a Tuesday evening, and Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilon look to be signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Just checking if there's any more updates here from Sky or Fabrizio Romano. Yeah, Sky saying Gareth Bale's, it's the same as their story a while ago, just have a more full story on that one. We'll have a look at that actually to see if there's any more news any more information that we hadn't previously known about this Bale move. While this is loading, again, if you are new to the channel and more videos like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click the notification bell as well, and hit like on this video. Hit like in this video if you are happy with the transfer news that we have seen coming through today. So here's what Sky Sports have to say. Gareth Bale's advisors are talking to Tottenham about returning on a potential loan move from Real Madrid. Bale's representatives are also speaking to other Premier League clubs, but Real Madrid have not agreed a deal with anyone. Man United may turn to Bale should they be unsuccessful in their pursuit of Jadon Sancho, and the likelihood of the 31-year-old returning to play in England is now looking much more realistic. Bale, who left Spurs in 2013, told Sky Sports News earlier this month he would consider a move to the Premier League if Real Madrid let him leave, and he is open to joining United on loan or in a permanent move. Now his agent saying something different tonight, that again coming from Gareth Bale's agent, he wants to play for Tottenham and they are in talks to make that happen. Tottenham are also in talks with Real Madrid over a deal to sign left-back Sergio Reguilon, while Eintracht Frankfurt striker Bas Dost is among a number of options the club are looking into to improve their attack. There's an update there in the League Cup game. Plymouth Argyle 1-0 up against Leyton Orient, so if that stays the same, we'll be facing Plymouth next week in the League Cup. Jose Mourinho said before the season opener against Everton, which Spurs lost 1-0, that he, quote, needs a striker. Mourinho has spent in the region of £30 million on the signings of free agent goalkeeper Joe Hart, right back Matt Doherty from Wolves and midfielder Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton this summer, but so far backup for Kane has proved elusive. That could be about to change, and it's this quote from Kaveh Salakal about Bale's potential to move to Tottenham again, and this is going to happen. We're going to sign Gareth Bale. And I never thought I'd be in a position to say that, especially this soon, this early in Bale's career. I know he's 31, but he's nowhere near the stage where he's going to be declining as a footballer. You know, he still has time to develop, or not to develop, but he still has time before he starts slowing down and before things start to go wrong for him. But look, there's nothing to say other than this is absolutely massive. Oren B. Yido saying, Bale is not coming back to Spurs, can we please move on? Only club Bale can go to is Manchester United. Well, Oren B. Yido, just to revisit, Gareth Bale's agent himself has said talks are ongoing between Bale, Real Madrid and Tottenham, and Gareth Bale wants this move to Tottenham to happen. So I think it's looking more than likely to happen at the moment. There just as well, you can see there at the top of the screen my subscriber goal for this transfer window. I'm hoping to get to 3,000 subscribers. So again, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm up at 2,300 now, so 700 away. Again, hoping to get there before the end of the transfer window. So if you can help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Luke Conroy saying could be a bait for big United bucks, which, look, it's a possibility. It's always a possibility, but it's unlikely that the stories would go this far, that the developments would be so major if that was the case. United, I think themselves felt as though they were being used as bait to get United were being used as bait to get a bit out of Tottenham. There's a post here from Spurs. I just want to double check that's not any sort of an announcement. No, it's the kid again with Chafa Tanganga. 2-0 there to Plymouth, so it looks like we will more than likely be facing them in the League Cup next week. But with regards to that, United did feel as though they were being used as bait to get a bit out of Tottenham. Has it worked? Has it worked from Real Madrid? Regardless of whether or not that's why we... thanks for another subscriber there, One Cool German. Whether or not that is what made this bid come from Tottenham, it's regardless at this stage. The bid has been made, and we have agreed a deal to sign Sergio Reguilon. And again, ESPN tonight reporting, another subscriber, thank you, Matt Lifts. ESPN tonight reporting that we have agreed personal terms at Reguilon as well, and it is a case of these final details in the contract. Telefootball now reporting that Tottenham Hotspur are prepared and ready to unveil the signing of Real Madrid left-back Sergio Reguilon imminently. Spurs head coach Jose Mourinho personally called the fullback to convince the player to join Spurs. They just keep them coming in. There's more there. Gareth Bale, BBC talking about Gareth Bale, Sergio Reguilon, Gareth Bale. There's just so many sources coming out with these now. I'm interested to see if Fabrizio Romano weighs in on the Gareth Bale story anytime soon. I would hope to God that he does, just for that extra bit of security. Danger Ranger saying Bale has won the Champions League 4 times, he doesn't need United, and that is something I was thinking a while ago. He's not the most ambitious player. We can tell that from the fact that he's stayed at Real Madrid for so long, and that he's been happy just sit on the bench with his umbrella or his hat over his face, and he's been out playing golf. We know he's not the most ambitious player, but he's a very talented player, and I feel bringing him back to Tottenham could get a bit more of that desire out of him. Simon Hill subscribing again, thank you very much. It could get a bit more desire out of him, and hopefully Spurs is just where he needs to be. Is that another? Graham Roberts now weighing in the situation. Graham Roberts on Twitter saying, and we have very good options if Gareth Bale signs. He can play right down the middle when Harry's not. He can play on either side. Superb in the air and superb shot, so it makes total sense to me to use him how Juventus and Real Madrid used Ronaldo at times. There's another Telegraph Football saying Real Madrid will pay 50% of Gareth Bale's salary to grant his wish to move to the Premier League. Yeah, it just keeps on coming. Andreas Kingbo saying if we get Diego Carlos too, we are more than settled for at least top 4. And Diego Carlos, I think, also plays with Sevilla. Obviously, would have been a teammate of Sergio Reguilon last season. I haven't seen any rumours or any news about that. He was a Brazilian centre back. I think he's maybe 28. I think he's kind of getting to that prime area of his career for a centre back. He's 27 years old. I think that would be a great signing, but again, haven't seen too much about it. I'm not sure if it's anything that would happen. Liquid Snake saying Kumbula would have been a fantastic signing, and this is one that I've seen a lot of fans mention at the moment. Rash Kumbula, he plays for Hellas Verona at the moment. He is, of course, a defender. There is talk that he could potentially be on his way to Roma in the next couple of days. So maybe we have missed out on that one, but I think it's certainly it's a pretty decent consolation with the deals that we have been getting done tonight. Daniel Thomas, United fan, saying you won't get Reguilon. It looks like a done deal, Daniel. I know as a United fan you'll be disappointed to miss out on him, but it does look as though Reguilon will be moving to Tottenham in the next couple of days. This one looks really, really close. Paul Wallang saying Reguilon buyback clause, again coming from Fabrizio Romano, who put a bit of clarity on this on his Instagram. I'll just get it up here. Key clauses. He's saying this afternoon Tottenham made, over here on the right, this afternoon Tottenham made an official bid for €30 million to sign Reguilon. Tottenham have also accepted the buyback clause and the preemption clause, both of which were refused by United, so Real Madrid can match any other bid in the future to bring Reguilon back. So this buyback clause is, so we're signing Regulan for €30 million. This buyback clause gives Real Madrid the chance to sign him for €35 to €40 million if they want to activate that clause at any stage over the next 3 years. The preemption clause, I'm not too sure how long it lasts, but what it means is if Tottenham at any stage accept a bid from a club to sign Sergio Reguilon, they have to give Real Madrid the offer, basically first refusal. So they say to Real Madrid, look, we've accepted this offer of whatever amount for Reguilon, do you want to match it? If Real Madrid do, we have to accept their bid. If they don't, we can go back into negotiations with the other club. As we had a friend of mine, Martin, in here a while ago as well, talking about, could we be a bit worried that this is an expensive loan for Reguilon? Well, I do think that it's something that does have to be considered. It's not a deal breaker. We're still getting in a fantastic left back. As I was talking about Reguilon a while ago, he's a 23-year-old left back for Real Madrid. Spent last season on loan at Sevilla, where he made 31 league appearances. In terms of his abilities on the ball, he created the fourth most chances of under 23 fullbacks in Europe last season. He created 40 in the La Liga for Sevilla. He's behind Fergus Estupiñán for Osasuna, who had 41, Theo Hernandez, who had 42, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was miles ahead with 81 chances created. Suiting our system, I think that question has been answered. He does offer us a lot of versatility. If we want to play it with this flat back four, where the right back pushes on a lot, as we did at the weekend with Matt Doherty, even though he was exploited by Richarlison, then I think if we are going to play that system, Ben Davies is a great option to play in that left back role and sit in almost as a third centre back. Whereas if we do want to play a 3 or 5 at the back, we then have Sergio Reguilon, who can play down the left, Matt Doherty down the right, two very, very talented attacking fullbacks who offer us a lot going forward, and could potentially be at the level that Walker and Rose were when they were at their best playing for Tottenham. Harry saying, imagine Friday morning, get home from school, open up Insta, and I see Reguilon and Bale holding the jersey, and that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping at this stage, is what I'm expecting, maybe even earlier than Friday. As Fabrizio Romano says, Tottenham are looking to get this deal done in the next couple of hours. This could be an announcement tomorrow. As far as ESPN are concerned, it's just the final details. We've agreed a deal, we've agreed personal terms. It's just the finer details in that that do need to be agreed. Toxic saying Tottenham are back. Danger Ranger saying, just remember injuries, we may need Dele and Sissoko. And as I was saying, this, as much as it is bringing in competition for players in the starting 11 this season, it is also about squad depth and just making sure we have options when players do get injured, because we know Tottenham have experienced some really poor injury numbers in the last couple of years. So this does offer us a lot more backup, a lot more squad depth for these situations. A lot of fixture congestion in the early stages of this season, and these players are exactly what we need. Now we've Jack Chad asking about Andrea Bellotti. The latest on him, as reported by Gianluca Di Marzio this morning, we have made a new and improved offer for Andrea Bellotti, believed to be a loan offer with an obligation to buy next summer, provided certain criteria are met. I haven't seen anything about what that criteria is or what exactly we need to do in order for that to become an obligation, but I would assume, unless something massive happens, unless Bellotti fails to score this season or picks up a terrible injury, you would assume that we would trigger that option to buy if it doesn't become an obligation. The fee probably would be in and around €50 million. Bellotti 16 goals last season and 36 Serie A appearances. Not his most clinical season. He has 79 in 175 league appearances for Torino overall. As I say, he's almost like an Italian version of Diego Costa. He's a nuisance. He just annoys defenders. He frustrates them. He's powerful. It's an aerial threat. He's a strong finisher and useful in that high press. A few people asking about Dele Alli. If Gareth Bale does come to the club, I wouldn't say it's likely that Dele Alli will be moving on. There are a handful of reports, nowhere near the volume that we've been seeing of the loan reports, a handful of reports saying that Tottenham could potentially be pursuing a permanent deal for Gareth Bale, which could involve Dele Alli going the other way. I think it was the Daily Telegraph where the outlet actually reporting that. I wouldn't read too much into that. We've Kai, thank you very much for subscribing. Just looking at some more Twitter. Sky Sports again. Could Gareth Bale be heading for a reunion with Tottenham? This one is taken over the Premier League media at the moment. The Spurs Express saying, written back in May, but if anyone needs a reminder of why Bale is such a special player to Tottenham, have a read. The Spurs Express, 13 years on, Gareth Bale and his unexpected rise to the top. Now let's have a quick look at this. When Gareth Bale signed from Tottenham on this day in 2007, I'm not sure a single Spurs fan predicted what was to come. The Welsh wizard went from zero to hero in North London before becoming the world's most expensive player in 2013. Signing for £10 million at only 17, Bale had the world at his feet, but the start of his Spurs career was more bizarre than most. In his first 24 games for the club, the then left-back failed to register a win in any. It was a curse that saw him almost move to Birmingham City in 2009. However, once the bad luck was broke, Bale moved from strength to strength, first helping his side qualify for the Champions League for the first time, before being a leading player in the squad the following season. Spurs fans will remember gracefully the side Harry Redknapp put together at the start of the decade, the attacking prowess of Bale, Raphael van der Vaart and Aaron Lennon, as well as the array of strikers including Peter Crouch, Jermaine Defoe and Roman Pavlyuchenko. It was a joy to behold. However, it was Bale who was the standout performer during their Champions League campaign. His performances both away and home against reigning champions Inter Milan put him on the European map. After scoring a hat-trick away from home at the San Siro and coming so close to drawing the game for Spurs, Bale showed glimpses of his full potential back at White Hart Lane. He played a huge part in sealing the win. Following Raphael van der Vaart's first half goal, he first laid the ball on a platter for the long legs of Peter Crouch before playing an almost identical ball for Pavlyuchenko, helping Spurs win 3-1. And just to read the final bit there, actually I thought it was going on longer. Having torn apart one of the best right backs in the world in Maicon, Bale had arrived on the world stage. Since that moment, Bale terrified opposition defences in England, playing a huge part in the solidification of Spurs becoming a European side once again, although he never managed to play in the Champions League for the Lily-Whites after that season. But it was in the 2012-13 season that Bale really stepped up a level under new manager Andre Villas-Boas. Bale single-handedly carried his team to within touching distance of Champions League qualification, to be pipped at the finish line by Arsenal. But Bale's individual performance that season will go down as one of the greatest in Premier League history. He scored 21 goals and assisted 9 in just 33 games. It saw him pick up a clean sweep of the yearly awards, including the PFA Player and Young Player of the Year awards and the Football Writers Award. Despite not managing to secure fourth place, what turned out to be Bale's final season at White Hart Lane was magical. The Welsh wizard brought glitz and glamour to North London and was a once-in-a-generation player. He will go down as a Tottenham legend forever. And he will go down as a Tottenham legend who could potentially be coming home. A Tottenham legend who does look like he is coming home. Gareth Bale is signing for Spurs. I've said it a number of times now, and actually we have Scott here saying Fabrizio Romano is tweeting about Gareth Bale. Now, as I said, I was interested to see if Romano would weigh in on this, and he has just a minute ago. Tottenham are in talks to sign Gareth Bale from Real Madrid. Daniel Levy has asked about Bale during the negotiations for Reguilon. So it's a very interesting one. It was the move for Regulan that Daniel Levy then opened up the possibility of signing Gareth Bale, and it has gone down very well. And Romano just quoting Jonathan Barnett to the BBC, Gareth still loves Spurs, we are talking, it's where he wants to be. So this one, as I said, with every minute that passes, every second that passes, it looks more and more likely that Gareth Bale will be coming back to Tottenham this summer. Andrea is saying, do we need a second striker if we land Bale? I think not. I suppose I would still want one. I would still want a second striker if we do sign Gareth Bale. I'd say the need for one probably would be reduced quite a bit. I wouldn't say you know, I wouldn't sit here and say we definitely need a new striker if we do get Gareth Bale, but I would like to think that we would still be looking for one. We'd still be trying to get one if we do get this Bale deal over the line, especially if it is a case of getting Andrea Bellotti. You know, he's not. It's going to be on a loan deal initially, so it's not going to be a massive amount of money for us to pay. So I would hope that we're still going to be entertaining the possibility of signing a striker. Maybe we wouldn't be as active in the window and, you know, fully trying to get this deal done. But I think I would still like us to go for another striker if we do get Gareth Bale. And we've Porev saying there, why not just pay 13 million for Kim Min-jae? Saw his video, is absolutely amazing defender. And I do think Kim Min-jae is a very good player. I've been seeing a lot of the Chinese Super League at work this season so far, and he definitely stands out as one of the better players in the league. He's a competent defender. His physical stature is impressive. He certainly stands out as one of the best players in that league, and he's really competent. He's good on the ball. He's of course good off the ball, good in the air. He seems to be a leader on the pitch. And we have more news here. It just continues to come in. Breaking news here coming from the Athletic UK, and it is about a new player. Tottenham Hotspur are considering making a move for Wolfsburg striker Wout Weghorst. Now, he mightn't be a name that is familiar with a lot of people, but he plays at Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga and had an exceptional season last season for them. He's 6'7". He's a huge player. He's a Dutch striker. I'm just trying to get his stats here for last season if I can. So on transfermarkt.com, I think always the best for getting these stats as quickly as we can. So the Athletic UK reporting that Tottenham are entertaining a possibility to sign Wout Weghorst in this transfer window as well. Scored 16 goals in 32 Bundesliga appearances last season for Wolfsburg, registering 3 assists as well, so fairly similar numbers to Andrea Bellotti. He scored 2 in the Europa League and 2 in the Deutsche Pokal Cup as well. Again, look, not one that we can say we were expecting to see, but I'm not sure what this means for Andrea Bellotti. I'm not sure what it means for Arkadiusz Milik, Troy Deeney, Patson Daka, Habib Diallo. There's so many names floating around for strikers right now. But the Athletic UK, assuming that is Dan Kilpatrick, I think it is, who works with the Athletic, or is it David Ornstein? Whichever one of them, anyway, it is. The Athletic are a reliable source, and they're saying we're looking into signing Wout Weghorst this summer. I think there could potentially be more news on this tonight. I'm kind of reluctant to turn the stream off because of that. Graham Roberts tweeting, is this all for episode bonus 10 from the documentary The Homecoming of Gareth Bale? I do sincerely doubt that, but BBC Sport Wales say Tottenham are continuing to work on securing the stunning signing of Gareth Bale this summer. Antonio Linares saying, as an American Spurs fan, I started supporting Tottenham after the Bale Modric era, so it would be nice to experience what it's like having Bale. Certainly, you know, as a fan who, I suppose I did see Tottenham under Bale, but I wasn't, you know, I was a lot younger. I think I was 12 or 13 when he did leave, but I do remember watching Gareth Bale. I remember some games in particular, some Sunday goals scored against West Brom, that last minute winner against West Ham, of course that Champions League game against Inter Milan when he made Maicon look like an amateur. I really do. I remember the time of Gareth Bale, and he was one of the first players that I did love at Tottenham, and of course, as with all fans, I was devastated when he left. So, you know, I think for someone who never really got to witness Bale at Tottenham, I think it would be a magical thing for you to get to see that as well. Stefan saying, signing Bale won't make us challenge for the league, but we'll have a really good chance at top 4. As I've been saying, I agree with you there, Stefan. I think the league is out of the question this year, simply because of the talent of Manchester City and Liverpool, and you know, I hope Chelsea won't be in the mix for that league title this season, but I can't say for sure that they won't be, given the really good signings they've made. Mikel saying, until I see Bale in Tottenham shirt, I won't believe this speculation. Let's just recall the Dybala deal. And I do think we need to mention these two deals tonight for Bale and Reguilon have gone on a lot further than the Dybala deal ever did. And for Dybala, I think it only ever progressed to a bit accepted by Juventus, but these, you know, Gareth Bale's agent himself has said talks are ongoing and Bale wants to join Tottenham. And Sergio Regulan, it seems to be everybody saying this is going to happen. ESPN saying personal terms agreed. Fabrizio Romano saying personal terms is all that's left to do. I think we can safely say these are going to happen, bar something crazy going on. Paul saying, Matt, what's your thoughts on Danny Rose and no squad number he found out from a friend? Did he deserve a call after 13 years of service? I didn't hear that story about him hearing it from a friend, but I don't think he would have been surprised that he didn't have a squad number. You know, this deal with Genoa is apparently getting close. He could potentially be off to Italy, and I don't know if that's a permanent deal or if it's a loan deal, but even if it is just a loan deal, that's the end of his time at Tottenham anyway, because he only has a year left on his contract, and we know he's not going to sign a new deal there. But yeah, I suppose it was a bit unfair if he did hear from a friend and if he didn't get a call from the club. I think that's bad for him from the club, but I don't think he would have been surprised, especially what went down between him and Mourinho last season. Charlie THFC, welcome along to the stream. Matt, I've missed most of the stream because of all this amazing news coming through, and I mean it is it is amazing news that continues to flow through. As we've said in the last couple of minutes, the breaking news from the Athletic UK is that Tottenham are looking to sign, or are considering a move for Wolfsburg striker Wout Weghorst this summer. I don't know what that means for the Andrea Bellotti deal, but it is another potential striker signing there, and the more names that are thrown about, I think the more likely it is that we will actually get one of them. A few more sources here. We're going to be signing Regulan. I didn't even realise there was this many transfer sources that would pop up on my Twitter, but it continues to come through. The Premier League panel here, interesting tweet about Gareth Bale. They're saying a bit of a myth buster about Gareth Bale's injury record. He was actually available for 38 of 51 of Real Madrid's games last season. Zidane just often chose otherwise not to involve him. A loan would be a worthwhile gamble for either Spurs or Man United to get him on the right wages. So he's actually, injury record last season, not that bad. But I know in previous seasons it has been worse. But last season, not the worst of his career. Just more, all these retweets about Fabrizio Romano, just to revisit what he has had to say about these deals, because as we know, Romano, the number one source for transfer news across Europe. Tottenham have made an official bid to Real Madrid to sign Sergio Reguilon, as David Ornstein reported. Manchester United are in talks for days with Real, but won't accept to pay €30 million and won't accept the buyback clause as asked by the Spanish club. This afternoon, Tottenham made an official bid of €30 million to Real Madrid for Reguilon. Tottenham have accepted the buyback clause and the preemption clause, so Real Madrid can match any other bid in the future to bring back Reguilon. Reguilon deal is not yet completed, battle is on, but Tottenham have an agreement with Real Madrid and are now working to agree personal terms with the player. Man United had the okay from Regulan for days, but there's no agreement with Real. Tottenham hope to convince him. And as for Gareth Bale, Tottenham are in talks to sign Gareth Bale from Real Madrid. Daniel Levy asked about Bale during the negotiations for Regulan. So it was interesting the way the news came out tonight. It was Bale first and then Regulan, but it was in the negotiations for the left back that Daniel Levy brought up the possibility of signing Gareth Bale, and look where it's got us. Gareth Bale more than likely becoming a Tottenham player in the next couple of days. Again, probably on loan. It's not looking like a permanent deal. There are reports that it could be a permanent deal. Some saying that it'll be Dele Alli going the opposite way. Others saying it'll be €20 million for Bale. But I think it's going to be a loan deal. It's what I do think. Scott saying, with Bale on the pitch for Spurs, we will finally have leadership and constant drive on display every match he plays. Paul is saying, do you think the Europa League is easy to win? I think with someone else mentioning that as well. Paul saying Arsenal looks like a better chance to win the Europa League than Tottenham, but it's someone a second ago as well commenting on the more potential to win the Europa League. I just can't seem to find it there. Oh, Alexander Hilton saying, forget the league, win the Europa League. Which, look, Gareth Bale, 4 European trophies in the basket. Sergio Reguilon won the Europa League last season. These are players who know how to win trophies. These are players who have won trophies and won European trophies. I think with every signing that we do make, it does make that Europa League trophy a lot more likely, because it's the rotation that you need for that competition. You know, obviously we have 2 or 3 qualifier rounds to go through, and then we have a group stage. Then it's a round of 32 rather than a round of 16 as it is in the Champions League. So there's an extra double-legged fixture there. But I think the Europa League is looking more and more likely as the day does go on. Sacred Raid saying, wake me up before you go. Who needs Bale when you got Sissoko? You could have both. I assume that's always a bit better. We have Always a Latte saying, sounds like Regulan is very close, expect announcement soon, which, as I'm saying, does look very, very likely. I do think this Regulan deal could be confirmed in the next couple of days. We have Joe Stewart saying, do you think Ndombele will have a good season? Is this a here we go from Fabrizio Romano? I don't think it is. It doesn't seem to be his genuine account. Let me have a look at this quickly. Do I think Ndombele will have a good season? It's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely, and I don't think he'll have the season his best season of his career yet so far. I think it is going to take a lot of time for him to develop and to adapt and to become the player that we want him to be. But I think this season can only be better than last season. There does seem to be a real desire there in terms of management, the board, and the player himself to actually succeed at the club. And we know we've seen in the Amazon documentary the interview we had with, or the meeting he had with Daniel Levy. They do want this to happen. They do want it to work. Liquid Snake saying, I think Ndombele will be unleashed this season. If he fails, his career is over. Poor F saying Cameron Carter Vickers to Bournemouth. I haven't seen anything about this one. Let's give it a quick search here. It wouldn't surprise me if it was, to be honest. Carter Vickers had a lot of loan spells in the last couple of years. We have Team Talk in the boot room here saying Bournemouth finalising deal for fringe Tottenham defender. I think he is someone else who could have a part to play this season if he does stay. In terms of, again, this fixture congestion, these cup games that we're going to be having. Welcome Joshua Humphreys to the stream. It has been a while. Good to see you back. HFS saying, that one. Alexander Hilton saying Davison Rose plus 20 million, then get Reguilon. That Davison Rose plus 20 million, then get Regulan. I think Rose is on his way out. I think Davis has to stay. Simply because, as I was saying, that versatility that is offered by Davis being a more defensive left back, Regulan being more offensive, it gives us that chance to switch between the kind of 4-at-the-back system which we did see at the weekend, and for a lot of last season where our right back, who I hope is going to be Doherty for the majority of the season, plays that really advanced role, and then the left back fills in as a third centre back. While it did, we were exploited by Richarlison on Sunday. There's a lot of teams that will work well against. I think West Ham, especially towards in Marino's first game, it did really, really well for us. And then with Regulan, we can play that 3 or 5 at the back, with Regulan and Doherty playing as wing backs, both of them being very advanced, and still have that defensive solidity of 3 centre backs. So I wouldn't want to get rid of Davis just yet. I do think you need 2 full-back options in each role. And Davis and Regulan are certainly 2 very, very good options to have. Aaron Jose saying, talk about some midfielders. There isn't really much to say about midfielders. Obviously signed Hojbjerg, and we seem to be set for that position so far this season. It's wingers, strikers, centre backs, and now this left back of Sergio Reguilon that we seem to be in for. I can't see there being any sort of development with midfielders for the rest of this window, which isn't a bad thing, because we do have options. We have Hojbjerg, Sissoko, Winks, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Ali, even Harvey White having a good pre-season. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 there I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I think we're fine for midfield this season. I think we are all set for that. We get Regulan over the line, get Bale over the line, get a centre back and a striker, and I think we're in the top 4 this season. It's as simple as that. As I've been saying, as a lot of people there have been saying, I don't think the league is going to be any sort of an opportunity this season. But Alistair Gold saying, we get these Regulan and Bale deals over the line, our business isn't done yet. There's still going to be more players coming in. I think top 4 for Spurs this season, and I haven't been saying that in the last couple of days. I haven't been confident of that in the last couple of days, but now, given this intent that we're showing in the window, I do think this can happen. I really, really do think we'll be back in the Champions League next season. Look, it's a huge day. As I've said it a few times, there's no denying that it's a huge day. Massive news for Tottenham. 2 big deals potentially done in the next couple of days. Sergio Reguilon and Gareth Bale. We have put in a new bid for Andrea Bellotti. We are considering a move for striker Wout Weghorst, and there's going to be more. There's going to be news of a centre back in the next couple of weeks. Look, if you are new to the channel and you have enjoyed this stream, or you are happy with the transfer news that we have heard tonight, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I'll be doing more of these streams, more transfer videos, and a lot more throughout the season, focusing mainly on transfers for the rest of the window. So if you do want more of that content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. As you see on the top of your screen there, I'm hoping to hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of this window. I think I'm a bit more than that at the moment. That doesn't seem to be updating properly, that ticker there. We've just hit 2,351 subscribers, so about 70 of you joining the channel during this stream. Thank you so much to all of you who have. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and let me know in the comments down below your opinions on these big transfer developments for Tottenham tonight. It's been a big day, and